Yep, just a little windy this morning. But man, what a gorgeous view to start the day. Woo! Hello, good morning. So, I left this morning at mile 906.7. It was High Top Hut, which I know we didn't know where I was going to land. And somehow, at some point, I misunderstood how far that hut was from me. I thought it was closer. So I got it in my head, yep, that's where I'm going to go. I knew it would get me to camp late, which I don't love, you know that. But I said, I'm going to do it. It'll be worth it. I'm going to do it. So I knew there was a chance of rain at 7. So I'm like, if there's any way I can beat the rain, that would be great. And as I'm walking along, and now I am past the first shelter that I planned to stay at. What was that, like pine tree hut or something like that? Now I'm past it, but not by much. I could have turned around. Somehow I look at and it says I am now 8 miles away. I think it was 8.5 miles away from this next hut. And I'm going, no, I was closer than that. Oh my gosh, no. So I'm now looking at, it was 4:30 in the afternoon. I'm going, this is going to get me there around 8:30. I'm like, that's when sundown, and that's if the sun doesn't hide behind a mountain somewhere and I'm in pitch blackness. Oh boy. So I'm like, what have I done? So now I spent like half of that distance looking at every other option while trying to hike, right? Because I don't want to stop. And came up with a few different options, but every time something inside me said no. They were all different reasons. Like, no, that could happen. Oh, what about that? Or you'd have to carry water for 2.5 miles. Again, not a big deal, but yeah, you got to do that. So finally I settled on, I was going to stay at this view spot. It was called a view spot. And I had to carry in water 2.5 miles. I'm like, fine, that's where I'm going, It was about half the distance of the hut. And then I get to the spring where I'm going to have to get this water. And I don't know why, but something in me said, you just got to go to the hut. That's where you got to go. So I said, all right, it's going to get me there very late. I won't collect the water. Once you don't collect the water, Karen, you can't stop anywhere but the hut because there was no more water sources. So I'm like, okay. So I just hunker down and decide I'm going to do this. And I pick up the pace big time. And I don't know how, but I ended up getting there at like 7:15, 7:30. No word of a lie. It had to be 7:30ish. Like before 7:30, not after. So it was like between 7:15 and 7:30. I don't know how. It was an absolute and utter miracle that I was able to get there that quickly. It started to rain only ever so briefly, pulled out the umbrella, and as soon as I didn't need it anymore. So, I wasn't like I was soaked, but I was starting to get cold. Anyway, I kept thinking, all right, I'm getting there wicked late. But I managed to get service enough to check the weather radar, and it looked like we were only getting a blip of rain around 1 a.m. and not for long. So I said, I'm still going to set up my tent. I know it'll be late. I had this whole plan, and I spent the rest of the hike going through my head. Okay, first thing you're going to do is get water. Then you're going to set up your tent. Then you're going to, or I think maybe even set up the tent first. Then get water, because water can be done with a headlamp. And then you're going to make dinner, because dinner can be done in the dark. And then, all this stuff. I had this whole plan. I kept going over in my head. What would be the way to do it? What would be the most efficient way to execute that night? Because I was getting there so late. And I didn't want, 8:30 can be hike or midnight. It depends on who's staying at the hut. And they might be annoyed if I come rolling in at 8:30 and start making all kinds of noise, right? I don't want to do that. So, miracle of miracles. I get there, like I said, 7:30. And now I am 3/4 of the way on top of a mountain. And the wind was blowing like madness. It's still blowing like madness, only I'm not as high. So windy and cold because it was cold out and it was windy. So I made an executive decision. I thought, if I pitch my tent, I may go flying away like Dorothy and end up in the Wizard of Oz. I said, I don't think I'm going to pitch my tent tonight. It kind of made me nervous because, I heard rumors that Nora was alive and well in the Shenandoahs, but I said, if washing my hands is all I need to do, then I will wash my hands endlessly. So I get there, and wouldn't you know, everybody there, except for two, there were just a young couple that I didn't meet before, but everybody else I knew. That was so nice. Especially, I was just lamenting to my family how I hadn't seen people in a while. And, as much as I do like being on my own and not like beholden to a trail family necessarily, obviously it's nice to see people I know. So it was really, really great. Bunch of people I knew. And having arrived an hour early, I was just so excited. So then, of course, none of them care that I need to set up camp, or make my bed and everything, on the later side. Plus, they said it's not late. They're like, none of us are going to bed anytime soon, so you're fine. And they made room for me in the shelter. And yeah, I got everything done, made my dinner. And Crazy was there, and he was hammocking still in that wind. Oh my gosh. And Trash Dog was there. He set up his tent, but he said that he went deep enough into the woods that he was able to find a spot that was blocked from the wind. So Crazy had made a fire. It was really nice. So even that little bit of rain that came, I dried my sneakers. Oh, I never mentioned that. Yesterday, miracle of miracles, my sneakers and my socks did dry. Amazing. Thought they never would, but they did. So I put my sneakers near the fire, my socks near the fire. They dried. Beautiful. They were really the only thing that got wet because the rain didn't last long enough. And Swampfoot was there, and another guy, The Foot, and Pony Boy, who got his name because when we were in the Grayson Highland with the ponies, a pony grabbed his bag, his dry bag, and took off with it. He was trying to get a picture or a video with one of the little babies, and another one just turned around and took his bag and started to trot off with it. And he had to fight for it back. It was so funny. He has a video of it, of course. Anyway, so his Pony Boy. And I told you the other people that were there. So it was really great. And I had kind of what's the word? It was a restless night's sleep. I didn't sleep well. I don't know. I sleep much better in my tent, but anyway, I did sleep. It just wasn't as comfortable maybe as I am normally. What else was I gonna say? So I was still very full. Well, not full. Okay, from my hamburger and food and milkshake and whatnot at the wayside. So I just had a soup. But then I had bought in the gift shop this huge bag of kettle corn, which I had planned to eat in my tent while it was raining. But instead I ate it in the dark in the shelter. And we saw some mice running around on the ground, not in the shelter, thankfully. And I was like, oh my gosh, Karen, you can't drop a crumb or they're going to all blame you for bringing the mice into the shelter. So I made sure there was not a crumb of popcorn in that shelter before I put the rest away, because I didn't eat it all. I have plenty for tonight. Anyway, so good. Yeah, and then I was out this morning, 8 a.m. It was freezing. Still super windy. In fact, the foot said that he had checked the weather, and last night said that we were getting 50 mile an hour plus winds. Oh, and around between 8 and 8:30, because it wasn't even dark yet, we heard a tree go down. And when that happened, I went, and there is reason number 3 why I am choosing to stay in the shelter tonight. Reason number 1 was the wind, and I didn't know how well my tent would hold up. Number 2 was we had tornado warnings last night. Where I was exactly only was listed as possible, but possible's possible. So I said that was reason number 2 for choosing the shelter. And then when the tree broke, there was reason number 3. Anyway, it was all good. It was all good. But get out the door quickly. I was covered up in my rain gear that makes, honestly, I should give Z-Packs a little credit for their rain gear that is truly spectacular wind gear. Just kind of pricey. And I was off this morning, and then I don't know, within an hour I shed those layers. Tonight, I am trying to get to 926.7. 926.3. Okay, I'm not gonna interrupt myself. I will tell you that in a second. 926.3 is another wayside. Okay, so that's 20 miles. I am gonna move my little tail so that I can get there. They're open till 8, but of course I don't want to get there that late because I need to find a place to land. But I am hoping I can get another yummy milkshake and maybe a hamburger, maybe a chicken sandwich. They had options. They had salad. I don't know. Salad's hard because it's just not enough calories. It's a lot of food and not a lot of calories. So you got to be careful of that, you know. Got to think. But who knows? But I'm determined to get there tonight. And then a mile from there is a campsite, a legit, like, tourist campground. That's what I should say, a campground. If I have to, I can, get a tent site for $30 at this legit campground. It's, for normal people visiting the Shenandoahs, maybe drove there in their car and stuff. But then, yes, I am going down some rocks, which I don't know how you're seeing them, but I don't know if you understand that. It's like almost like stairs. Not stairs, but kind of like stairs. Okay, so sometimes these rocks do form stairs. Funny how they just landed there, right? No, obviously somebody put them that way. Okay, so then 1 mile later, like these, there's no way this just happened, is the campground, so I can stay there. Or at the wayside, I could just make sure I get all the water I'll need and then see what the first available tent site I find is. So yeah, so where I exactly land tonight is still up in the air, but I can tell you it'll be somewhere around 9:27 or so, because by then it'll be getting late. And this time I have to make a quick visit of the wayside and not spend 2 hours. That was a little silly. But I think did I not tell you that? Oh my goodness. So I ended up, you know how it was raining? It was raining really hard. No, I didn't tell you because I didn't do a night video because I was in the shelter and there was all kinds of people and I didn't want to interrupt them or disturb them. Okay. So after I showed you all the rain, I was just about to leave. And this couple asked me a question because they overheard me talking to another woman about the thru hike. And so this woman asked me a question, and it's Johnny and Zena, and they are from Vermont. And we just got talking, and it was great. It was really, we had a really great conversation, and it went all over the place. But yeah, so they, super nice, super nice. But I don't know, maybe it was a half an hour. But when I looked up, the rain had stopped, and I'm like, hey, look at that, the rain has stopped now. So that was a great conversation, meant to be. Didn't get me soaked for nothing, because like 30 minutes later, I would have just been soaked for nothing. So that worked out well. And there was no Wi-Fi, so I couldn't check the radar to see if it was going to be a quick passing storm. So that really just worked out well. And I've got a picture with them. I look horrible in it, but they look great. I always look horrible. I wish, you've seen the videos. If you've seen my videos, you see what I look like in civilian life. I was saying to like people here, like through hikers, I said, we should carry a picture of us before we started the hike. So like you could see, well, this is what I normally look like. Because last night, part of the conversation I overheard from the guys was which ones are, grew beards just because they're on the trail, and which ones don't normally grow beards, and how they have long hair that they normally don't have. And I'm like over here going, I got my hair. Silly me, I cut my hair. Anyway, so whatever. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to stop talking. It's already 16 minutes, for crying out loud. Okay, but yeah, so we'll see where I land. Okay, onward and upward. Bye. Oh, let's see, turn this sucker off. Boom. Okay, so wicked quick recap on the wayside. That intel I got from Mark Trail, totally spot on. You want to go in, do not follow what Far Out says. Far Out is going to take you down a path. Well, it's going to go down a path. A very steep path, 0.6. And then you have to climb that back out. Here's what Mark Trail said. Wait till you get to Ivy Creek Spring. It doesn't look like much, but there's a cement pole, and it says, on the little metal thing that's been hammered out, Ivy Creek Spring. Take that. Follow to the spring. You'll see the maintenance hut. Obviously, not for us to do anything with. As soon as you pass in front of that maintenance hut, you've passed past the spring and now past the maintenance hut. It's like not far, like a few steps, honestly. You will now be on a fire road. You get to the end of the fire road. The fire road is only ever so slightly inclined. It is not, and it actually goes down. The incline will be when you come back. But it's only ever slight. It's not hard at all. And you're going to go to the end of the fire road, and you will take a left, and that will put you on the main road. And as soon as you are on the main road, you will see a sign for the wayside, and it's a hop, skip, and a jump from there. I think I timed it door to door. So we're talking first step off the AT to the front step of that wayside, 10 minutes. And it was painless. So ignore far side. I wish I had the mile marker, but I do not have it in my head. But it is Ivy Creek Spring. Not the one after Ivy Creek Spring. There's something else that says Ivy Creek Spring something. Not that one. It's the one for the actual spring. Ivy Creek Spring. You'll see it on the cement post thing. And it looks just like a little dirt side path. But as soon as you get through that and get to the spring, you're going to see the maintenance hut and the fire road. And then, trust me when I tell you, 10 minutes to an amazing smash burger and milkshake. Worth it. Totally worth it. All right, that's for the first wayside. I know nothing of the other waysides. I have no intel for those. Although I did read that one of them is like right on the AT, so that's brilliant. And then I think the one I'm going to shoot for today is Oh, yeah. So now I just gave it away. I'm actually filming this the next day because I forgot to do it yesterday. But I'm putting it in yesterday's video so you have it with the same information. Anyway, the one I'm going for today is about 0.4 off the trail. But this one, like I said, I think if I totaled it was 0.6. But, oh, such a quick walk. Compared to going all the way down that steep trail and then having to claw my way back up. No, 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 no. And so from where Far Out says the wayside is, like if you look at it, oh, the wayside, it's 1.5 miles further. So what is that, like 45 minutes, right? At my pace. Worth it. Worth it, worth it, worth it. All right, go get yourself a burger and a shake. Woohoo! Smile. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. And windy. Good morning. And yes, as you can see, there's that big, oh, where are you? There you are, sun. Great big, beautiful sun poking through. Again, blessed with a gorgeous day. I am afraid to look at when they think we'll have rain again. It's just we've been spoiled. So this is actually day 63, but I never gave you an update yesterday. Yesterday, being the weekend, was so busy on trail. Whenever I tried to do a video, I kept bumping into people. I'd lose my train of thought, blah, 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 blah. So I said, no. I got to redo this. And then thought I'd do it in my tent, but didn't set up my tent. So let's go back. I want to recap day 61. But doing that on day 63. So pardon me if I say things like yesterday, because whatever. Okay, day 61. I woke up thinking I was going to go to a shelter, thinking that shelter was 17 and a half miles away, but it was not. I just read the numbers wrong. And when I got on trail and started looking again, it turns out it was only like 12 or 13 miles. And I'm like, nah, I want to do more than that. So I didn't know where I was going. And I know you saw already the footage from the campground, so you know I landed there, but how did I get there? Here's what happened. So I knew when I looked at the map, I could get to the wayside. If I truly applied myself, I could get to the wayside for dinner. So that was the goal. From there, I knew I could load up on water and then pretty much pick any stealth site if it came to it. But, so there was really no plan after getting to the wayside. From there, I was going to decide what to do. Because worst case, I stay at the campground. And that's not even bad. I mean, really? Like, what's so worst case about the campground? Nothing, except that they want $30 for a site. So, okay, that's kind of a bummer. But I have also paid $30 for a tent site at a hostel. So what's the difference, right? Okay, so get to the wayside. The guys all came in after me. Very peculiar. Didn't know why. They should have been well ahead of me. Yeah, turns out I missed out on some pretty sweet trail magic. They went on and on and on about it. I remember seeing the sign. It's kind of a long story, but there had been a sign for trail magic earlier in the day, and I detoured off to go check it out, and there was nobody there. So I'm like, fool me once, right? Like, so that was what my attitude. I'm like, I don't need the trail magic. I just want to get to the wayside. It was a long day, and I should have, because I guess it was everything. Hamburgers, pizza, snacks, you name it, it was there. So, okay, great. Thank you, awesome trail angels, for filling my friends' bellies. And sorry I didn't trust your sign. Anyway, okay, so guys come in after me. They're at the wayside, and it's now, well, I don't know. Once we get going and the food comes out and we're eating and we're laughing and we're talking, next thing you know, it's like an hour and a half. And it was 6:30 by the time we were ready to get going again. And I just was like, I am not going another 2 miles or 2 hours to the shelter. I'm just not. No, it was too late. I'd get there right as it was getting dark. I wasn't interested whatsoever. So I said I was going to try and find a stealth site. But then I thought, what if, maybe they'll let us put all our tents on one tent site and we can split the cost. So we had no signal because the waysides have no public Wi-Fi and there's no signal. So I have been without signal most of the Shennies are every once in a while there'll be a bar, maybe two, but you go to send something, more than a text message does not send. Pictures do not send. Like, be careful of the Shennies. Don't expect to do very much in here other than send maybe a text message and hope and pray that it actually sends. Okay, so we don't know what the campground will allow. So the foot was done and packed up, and he says, I'll go ahead because the campground was only a mile further. So he says, I'm going to go find out what we can do. So he goes, and sure enough, there were 2 tent sites large enough, and they allow it. Like, it's part of what they allow. Up to 6 people on one tent site. So we were like, yes. So we did that. Got a fabulous site near bathrooms. And so that was great. What else? Oh yeah. And Crazy made a huge fire. It was so nice. So it was like 7:30 when we got there and all set up. And now we got this fire, and we didn't have to make dinner because we'd already eaten, and we're all just like laughing and having a great time. And you know what? Yeah, I think like 9:30 we finally called it a night. It was the perfect solution to, where to land that night. It was absolutely, absolutely perfect. So if you're wondering, this was Big Meadow Campground, and they let us put up to 6 tents on one site. The next morning was so great. Now that would be day 62. That was so great. I woke up again. I tend to wake up very early out here. Nothing like at home. At home, I am not an early bird, but here I don't know, fresh air, whatever. Sun is shining, coming through my tent. I woke up, started my coffee, and again, the deer just started coming out of the woods, and they're not afraid. I say this over and over. One guy I met yesterday said, they're like pets around here. They're not afraid. They just kind of hang out with you. And gotta adjust my phone here. And it's just really, really cool. And I said you can't pay money for this. You can't, say, oh, I'm going to go pay this company to give me this organized trip. And if I pay extra, deer will walk into my campsite. You can't do that. This is just the coolest thing. And they walk right by you. They look at you. They're like, what you up to? You got anything for me? It's just so fun. So then got out, I think, early. I think I left around 7:30. That's maybe 7:45, but it was before 8. And got on trail. This time we were definitely planning to hit the next shelter at 245.6. And I'm 245, listen to me, 945.6. And there was no waysides to distract me. And I don't know why. It was the day we landed at the campsite, day 61, the terrain was so agreeable. The hills were not difficult or steep. There was plenty of elevation gain. I think it was like upwards of 3,500, but it wasn't bad. I mean, I did not feel wrecked. In fact, I felt really great by the end of the day and was like shocked by it. But yesterday, I should stop because I want to be able to put this in day 61, 62's video. So, all right, I'm going to stop there and then I will fill you in on yesterday. Okay, bye. My hand is like numb. Bye.